Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is having a nice week and an eventful St. Patty's Day weekend. So, for this week, before in a previous video, I touched on the subject that I play multiple instruments. So, I figure that I would talk about a person that not only was instrumental in my life, but instrumental as far as me musically is concerned. So the person that I felt that I would discuss is my cousin slash uncle. His name is Daryl. I say that he is. I say cousin slash uncle because technically speaking, he is related to me as my cousin-in-law. His wife is my third or fourth cousin. I call him my uncle because how important he is. He's become in my life. This all started, say, about 15 years ago when, I was about 15. I decided to go to church with my grandmother. She wanted to put flowers on her mother's grave. So she is a Catholic. We were pretty much raised Catholic for the most part. So I decided to go to church with her at the Catholic service. When I did so, they got to the point in the service which they sang Amazing Grace. And I heard, for throughout the service, I could hear a nice flute in the background, but I heard this amazing sax solo that was played during the song. So while we were putting flowers on the graves, walking back, I just so happened that I was talking to a guy and I was complimenting, saying how well I enjoyed the sax solos. And the guy who I was talking to was actually the saxophonist. And to me, it just goes to show you how God does things. The person who I was talking to was a saxophone soloist, and then come to find out that we were actually related, and he actually knew my entire family. So, at a time in my life where I didn't have very many positive things, this man took me underneath his wing, and he showed me everything that he needed, everything that he knew. He would come pick me up. He knew my family, so my family was okay with me traveling with him, etc. He was playing saxophone at about two churches at the time, and everywhere he went, I went with him. He, I won't say that he taught me everything I knew, but at that time, everything I knew, I learned from him. And musically speaking, I learned a lot from him. What makes him so instrumental is that I didn't really grow up with a father in my life. So at the age of around 15 to 16, this man was the only father figure that I knew in my life, which is why I became to call him my uncle. And anyone who didn't know any better, who doesn't know any better, I should say, thinks of him as my uncle. But anyone who actually knows, which is pretty much only my family, knows that technically speaking, he is my cousin. We've been everywhere from Louisiana to Texas to Mississippi to Arkansas. Right before I left for the military, we did a show together in which he, it's funny, but he actually, in the show, stated that I was a son he never had. Be quiet, don't tell his son that. But we've grown to have a close connection to the point now, if anytime he's on the sick side, so anytime I think about him, not just think about him sick, I automatically tear up. But to have a man who was so vested in my well being, and anything that was going on in my life, especially musically speaking, to just take me underneath his wing at that young of an age and just show me everything that he knows, and to be so involved in my life to the point where it's, of course, because we're both dark skinned, it kind of makes it a little bit easier to sell that story. But anytime you saw me, you saw him, and anytime you saw him, you saw me, and you would never know. No one knew the relationship that we had with each other behind closed doors. But he is just such a caring and giving person that he was the type that he would give the shirt off of his back. And anytime he knew that something was going on in my life, whether it be ups or downs, he was there and involved with it. And really, realistically, he was developed. We had a closer bond on a father son level than we did anything, but just out of sheer respect, I just call him my uncle versus father, and other obvious reasons too as well. But Darrell Hayes is one of the most influential people in my life. I've never seen a man go through kidney dialysis, I'm sorry, and leave and go do a show that may be 2 hours away, and do a 4 hour show straight through, and still can get up there and dance on tables. So I look at it, if a man can be that upbeat about life and still go out and provide for his family, even though he has every reason to stay home and try to recover, and to still care about his family and my family on top of that. That's all the inspiration that I need. So I hope you enjoy. Thank you.